Hey guys, welcome back to the new tutorial series of creating an application with the help of Android Studio. In this series, we are going to create grocery list application with the help of SQLite database and Android Studio. So let's start. First, insert this layout folder, create a file name content main.xml. Insert that, add an text view and add different properties like add layout margin top of 8 dp, layout margin right of 8 dp, layout margin bottom of 8 dp and layout margin left of 8 dp. Okay, so now add the text size of 18 sp. Add text of @string/add item. @string is used to get the value from this string.xml file. Okay, we will add the string value later. So now add text style of bold and layout constraint bottom to bottom of parent layout constraint left to left of parent layout constraint right to right of parent and layout constraint top to top of parent. Okay, so with the help of this, now the text view will be in the center of the page. Okay, so now to show this inside the activity main file, we need to add tools show in layout slash activity underscore main, and we need to add this tools xml. And another thing we need to add is the layout behavior of this file, and that will be app scrolling view behavior. So now inside the activity main, include this layout file. Okay, and remove this text view, we don't need it. So now from the search palette, search for the floating action button and add to this constraint layout and give any icon you want. I am giving the add icon. Okay, so now add the app bar to this layout and give a width of match parent and height of wrap content, and add the theme of @style slash app theme.app bar overlay. Okay, and insert this. Now add and toolbar widget. Give width of match parent and height of the ATR slash action bar size. It will take the size of the according to the screen. Okay, add background color of ATR slash background. Okay, it will take the background color according to the background color which are given in this colors file. Okay, and add pop-up theme of @style app bar overlay. Okay, now in this floating action button, remove this layout editor and these two. Okay, add layout gravity of center and add layout margin of 16 dp and add src compact of @Android drawable add. It will add the icon. Okay, remove this include from the floating button and add outside of it. Okay, okay, so now let's run and check whether the layout is created properly or not. Okay, so it is working properly. Now on the click of this button, we will pop up a menu to add the item to the database. So let's start. So first of all, to create and pop up, first create an popup.xml file inside this layout folder. Now convert this constraint layout to linear layout. Okay, so and add the orientation to this layout of vertical. Now inside this add one card layout, card view, and take the width of match parent and height match parent. Now inside this card layout, take an relative layout and give width of match parent and height of wrap content. Give padding of 25 dp, so it will be in the center. Okay. Now inside this relative layout, declare an text view. Give height and width of wrap content. Give ID to this text view of title at the ID title. And give text size of 18 sp. Give text style of bold. Give text of string add item. So enter item. We will later declare this string variable inside this value folder string.xml, and give layout center horizontal to true. Okay. Now take an edit text and give height and width of match parent, height of wrap content. Give ID to the edit text of grocery item. Okay. Now give layout below of title. Give margin of 8 dp and give auto fill hint. It will give the hint to the edit text to the string / int item. Okay. And now give int of string / int item and give input type of text. Okay. Now okay, add another edit text. Give ID of quantity and replace the hint with quantity. Okay, give margin top of 32 dp. Okay, and it will be layout below grocery item. Okay, and give input type of number. The int item value will be enter name, string quantity, enter quantity, and last one for the button text save. Okay, this name and the string name, that must be the same, otherwise it will give an error. Okay, so now our design is ready. Now we will write code inside this main activity On the click of this button, we will pop up this menu. Okay. Next, we will declare the edit text and button over here. Private edit text grocery item grocery quantity. Private button save button. Okay, so on the click of this floating action button, we will display an alert dialog to show this layout. So for that we will need to use alert dialog over here. Private alert dialog builder will build the dialog, and private alert dialog. Okay, so now and button floating action button fab is equal to find view by id r dot id dot fab. Okay, fab dot set on click listener new view dot on click listener. So on the click of this floating action button, we will implement one method to show this layout. Okay, you create a method name create popup dialog. Okay, create method. Okay, now let's call dialog builder over here. Dialog builder is equal to new alert dialog dot builder. This will create an alert dialog over here. Now we will take the view to declare this layout to call the edit item and button over here. View get layout inflector dot inflect r dot layout dot popup. So this will call the XML file popup.xml which we have created, and it will use its text view and edit text button over here. Okay, so grocery item is equal to view dot find view by id r dot id dot quantity r dot id dot grocery item. Okay, grocery quantity is equal to view dot find view by id r dot id dot quantity. Save button is equal to view dot find view by id r dot id dot save button. Now we will implement the dialog builder to set the view inside the dialog. So dialog builder dot set view, and to show this dialog, implement a dialog is equal to dialog builder dot create method will create the dialog builder when we click this floating action button, and to show this dialog we need to implement dialog dot show. Okay, so now we will implement on click listener on the save button. So save button dot set on click listener new view dot on click listener. Okay, if grocery item dot get text dot toString is empty. Okay. If not empty and not grocery quantity dot get text dot toString dot is empty, then if both the value of the name and quantity are not empty, then for now we will toast and message toast dot make text get application context comma on the for now we will show the entered value. So name grocery item plus quantity grocery quantity and show the toast dot length long dot show. Okay, so now let's check whether it is running properly or not. So let's check. Enter name, food quantity 10, save. Okay, so the data are coming. So the toast message is coming, but it is coming little bit different due to this layout inflector. We will create a database file to store the data into the database. So let's start. Okay, so first of all create a database in the class inside this folder. Now extend the database in the class with SQLite open helper and add the methods, unimplemented methods. So before writing code inside this database in the class, we will create a class name constant and we will write inside it some final values which can be used in database class. Okay, public static final integer db version is equal to 1. Public static final string db name, it will be grocery list db. So string table name and it will be grocery table. Okay. Now add another public static final key id, it will be id for the table, key underscore grocery name, it will be grocery item, then key quantity grocery quantity, and the last one key date, on which date we have added grocery date added. Okay, let's write inside this database handler class. Okay, first declare private context ctx and inside this super method constants dot db name, the database null and the version will be context dot db constant dot db version. Okay, and this dot ctx is equal to context. Okay. Now inside this create method, let's create the table for database. Create grocery table is equal to create table constants dot table name plus constants dot key id plus integer primary key plus constants dot key grocery item plus text plus constants dot key quantity plus text plus constants dot key date plus long. Okay, now db dot execute SQL create grocery table. Okay, inside this on update method we will drop the table if it is already exists. db dot execute SQL drop table if exist plus constants dot table name on create db. Okay, so we have created a table to insert the record. Now we will write a method, add method to save data inside the table. So public void add grocery and grocery. We will need to create a class name grocery, and inside that we will create getter set a method to get the value from the database and set it inside the layout. We will create later in the next video. Okay, so now SQLite database db is equal to this dot get writable database. Content values is equal to new content values dot put constants dot key grocery item comma grocery dot get name dot put constants dot key quantity comma grocery dot get quantity. Values dot put constants dot key date, and the date will be java dot lang dot system dot current millisecond. Okay, now db dot insert constants dot table name comma null comma values. Okay, and let's write a log dot d saved save to db. So now currently this get name and get quantity are showing error because we have not created the grocery class. When we will declare this value, the error will be got. Okay, so let's create and get a set a method inside this grocery class. So first declare private string name, private string quantity, private string date added, private integer id. Okay, now add get a setter method and create an constructor of all values and empty constructor of grocery. Okay, so now let's create a method inside this save button, save grocery to db and pass the v create method view v. Okay, so now grocery is equal to new grocery string new grocery item dot get text dot to string new grocery quantity is equal to new to grocery quantity dot get text dot to string. Now grocery dot set name new grocery and grocery dot set quantity is new grocery quantity. So here we are setting the values of the this text field name and quantity inside this getter method to save it into the database. So to use this add grocery method inside this main activity, we need to declare the database handler class over here, private database handler db. Okay, so now db dot add grocery. Okay, and snack bar dot make v comma item saved comma snack bar dot length long. Okay. So this snack bar will show a message if the data is added to the database. It will be shown at the bottom of the screen. So now let's run and check whether it is running properly or not. Let's check it. Add new item. Grocery name. Snacks quantity 5. Save. So we have posted a message and the data is added to the database, but the app is closing because we have not given an intent to which activity to go on the click of this submit button. So let's write code to navigate to the next activity.
Okay, so now we will create one runnable interface over here so that we can navigate to the next screen. So new handler dot post delayed new runnable and insert this dialog dot dismiss and start new activity new intent main activity dot this comma list activity dot class and give the delay in millisecond. Okay, so this runnable interface will dismiss the pop-up dialog and it will navigate to the list activity class. Okay, so now we will create one method so that on the start of the application, instead of this floating action button, we will see the list of the records which we have added. Okay, so now let's create method public void bypass activity. Okay, so now before writing inside this method, we will first need to write inside the database handler class. We will create one method inside this database handler class to get the list of the record, the count of how many records are there. Okay, so now inside database handler get item count. Okay, public int get grocery count. We are using initial because we will return the number of records. Okay, so now string count query is equal to select star from constants dot table name SQLite database db is equal to this dot get readable database. This readable database is used because we are reading data. Now cursor is equal to db dot row query. Okay, this will query the records and now we will return the cursor dot get count. Okay, so it will return the number of record. Now let's write inside this bypass activity. If db dot get grocery count greater than 0, start activity new intent main activity dot this to list activity dot class. Okay, and now finish. Okay, so now inside this content list.xml file, over here first add tools and add app xml ns apps. Okay, so that it is used to show this tools colon show in layout activity list. Without this it will show error. And now add apps colon layout behavior, and it will be scrolling view bar view behavior. And now add recycler view and give width of 392 dp and height of 580 dp. Okay, and also give id to this recycler view, android id recycler view id, and give margin top of 8 dp, give margin left of 8 dp, margin right of 8 dp. Okay, and now add app colon layout constraint to bottom to top of parent and to layout constraint to right of parent and layout constraint to left of parent. And also add the property of horizontal basis layout app layout underscore constraint horizontal basis of 0.0. Okay, so you will not say anything, but it is over there. So okay, now this activitylist.xml file, add app bar layout, give width of match parent and height of wrap content. Okay, and give theme of @style / apptheme.appbar overlay. Okay, and now add toolbar inside this app bar, give width of match parent and height of /action bar size. It will take the size as per this width. Okay, and now add background of slash color primer and pop-up theme, and it will be app bar overlay theme. Okay, include the layout file which we have created, layout layout content list. Okay, and now add floating action button, give height and width of wrap content, and give ID to this floating action button of that ID fab. Now add Android colon layout gravity of bottom end, so it will be in the corner, and give a colon source compact is equal to @android slash drawable slash IC ROID Android colon drawable slash IC underscore input underscore add. Okay, and add margin layout margin of 16 dp, and convert this constraint layout to coordinator layout. It is useful when we are using layout inside layout. Okay, so this floating action button has come over here. Okay, so now we will write code inside the Java file. Okay, so before writing inside this list activity, so to use this recycler view, we need to create a class name recycler view adapter, and so that we can use recycler view. Let's create class name recycler view adapter inside this recycler view adapter. Okay, so now we will write inside this recycler view adapter to show the data in this list view. Okay, before that, let's manage these different activities. So now extend this class with recycler view dot adapter, and inside this add recycler view adapter dot view holder, and add the unimplemented methods. More action implement methods, and add all these three methods, and we need to create the class of view holder over here. View holder extends recycler view dot view holder, and implements view dot on click listener, and implement methods on click. Okay, and also okay, now it's ready. Okay, so we have extended this recycle adapter class and implemented the unimplemented methods. So declare a list of grocery and alert dialog over here. So private context private list of grocery list, private alert dialog dot builder, and it will dialog builder. Okay, let's import this list and also import this context. Okay, now add private alert dialog and now add private layout inflector. Okay, so this layout inflector is used when we are calling the another activity from this activity. At that time, the layout inflector will inflect the layout and will show that another activity inside this activity. And with the help of this alert dialog, on the click of this floating action button, we will pop up the another activity over here with the help of that layout inflector. Okay, so now let's create the constructor of this context and grocery list over here. So press Alt Insert Constructor Context Grocery List. Okay, and now let's write code inside this get item count method. Okay, so now inside this get item count, we will return the size of this database. Okay, so grocery list dot size. So it will return the number of the records available inside the database. And now inside this view holder, with the help of this layout inflector, we will show this list row file inside this activity list file. So now let's call the view is equal to layout inflector dot from parent dot get context dot inflect r dot layout dot list row, comma root will be parent and boolean value will be false. So with the help of this, we will inflect this list row file and show inside this parent file, means inside this activity list, and return the view holder dot view holder, and it will return view and context for showing where to show, and return the new. And okay, we forgot to add here context, so add context. Okay, so now inside this view class, let's declare the text view and button to fetch the data. Public text view grocery item name, public text view date added, and public text view quantity. Now public button, edit button, and public button, delete button, and add public integer id. Okay. So now inside this view holder, we will fetch this text view and button by its id. And before that, let's declare context is equal to ctx. And now grocery item is equal to item view dot find view by id r dot id dot name. Quantity is equal to item view dot find view by id r dot id dot find view by id r dot id dot quantity. Date added is equal to item view dot find view by id r dot id dot date added. Now edit button is equal to item view dot find view by id r dot id dot edit button. And now last delete button is equal to item view dot find view by id r dot id dot delete button. Okay, so we are using this item view to fetch it by id, because when we are using another activity inside this activity, we must call that view over here. So now let's implement on-click listener on this button and this item view. Okay, so first edit button dot set on-click listener and pass this, and same for this delete button. Okay, and now for the item view dot set on click listener new view dot set on click listener. Okay, so on the click of the item view, we will navigate that particular record to the next activity, and we will show that record in the card view. So for now, we will just toast and message toast dot make tag context clicked and toast dot length long dot show. We will just show the toast that we have clicked that record, but in the next video we will create one class named detail activity, and in that activity we will pass that data. Okay, so now let's write code inside this on click. Let's create one switch case v dot get id case r dot id dot edit button, then integer position is equal to get adapter position. Grocery is equal to grocery list dot get position, and we will create one method named edit item, and we will pass this grocery. So basically what we are doing that on the click of this edit button, we are passing the position at which position that record is there, and we will pass that whole record into this edit item, and where we will perform the edit of the record. Create method edit item. Okay, and make this grocery to final, and we will implement the same case for the delete button, where id is equal to delete button. And we will create a method for delete item. Create method. Okay, final, and here it will be int id. For deleting the record, we will pass the id of the record. Okay, so what we are doing, that on the click of the edit, we will pop up a dialog where we can edit the record, and on the click of the delete button, we will show a message whether we want to delete that particular record or not. Inside this edit item, first instantiate this alert dialog builder is equal to new alert dialog.builder, and pass the context. Now, with the help of this layout inflector, we will inflect this layout inflector.from context, and now final view is equal to inflector.inflect r.layout.popup. And view group is null. Okay, let's declare the edit text and text view for this layout. Edit text grocery item is equal to view dot find view by id r.id dot grocery item. Final edit text quantity is equal to view dot find view by id r.id dot quantity, and final text view title is equal to view dot find view by id r.id dot grocery text view. Okay, text view. Okay, so basically what we are doing, that on the click of this edit button, with the help of this layout inflector, we will pop up this layout inside this list activity, and we will show this edit text and text view. Okay, so now let's set the title for the text view. Title dot set text, and the text will be edit grocery. Okay, and now grocery item dot set text grocery dot get name. So we will set the default name for the grocery on the particular record on which we have clicked. Okay, now let's declare the button save button is equal to, we need to cast the button with this view dot find view by id r.id dot save button. Okay, now let's implement on click method on this save button. Save button dot set on click listener new view dot on click listener. Okay, so inside on click we will call this database handler class database handler db is equal to new database handler and pass the context. Now update the record grocery dot set name and the name will be grocery item dot get text dot toString, and for the quantity grocery dot set quantity dot get text dot toString. Okay, and we will do the null check for both the record. If grocery item dot get text dot toString dot is empty and not here exclamation, so not empty. If grocery item is not empty and we will do same for this quantity, so not quantity dot get text dot toString dot is empty. If both the value are not empty, then db dot okay, so we first need to create the method inside the database for updating the record. So let's create the method inside this database class. Our database handler. Okay, so here we will create the updated record. Let's create method public int update grocery, and we will here pass the grocery. Okay, now call SQLite database db is equal to new SQ is equal to this dot get a writable database. Now context values is equal to new context values. Okay, now values dot put constants dot key underscore grocery item comma grocery dot get name. Now values dot put constants dot key quantity and grocery dot get quantity. And now values dot put constants dot key date and grocery, and the date will be java dot lang dot system dot current millisecond. So here we will take the system time, what time, date and time. Okay, and now let's return this value db dot update constants dot table name comma values comma constants dot key id at which id we need to update the record, and the id will be okay, and new string array string dot value of grocery dot get id. Okay, so here what we are passing, the table name at which table we need to update the record, the values, these values, and the where clause at which id we need to update the record, and the where argument. It will be the array of this old record with the help of this id. Okay, so now let's write inside this recycler view adapter class db dot update grocery, and here we will pass the grocery. Okay, so now notify item change, and we'll get adapter position and grocery. So we will notify that whether at which position the record is updated. Else snackbar.make text snackbar.make view add grocery and quantity. If the value is empty, then we will notify to add the record snackbar dot length long dot show, and dismiss the dialog dot dismiss. Okay, so what we are doing here, that first we have built an alloc dialog with the help of this layout inflector, and on the click of this edit button, we will pop up the dialog and we will enter the value inside this edit text, and on the click of this save button, we will call this database handler method update grocery if both the values are not null, and we will update the database with that value, and we will notify that the record is updated. Okay, so first of all, let's create one layout file inside this layout folder and give the name of confirmation dialog. Okay, and now inside this take one card view and add relative layout inside that card view, and also add one text view and two button for yes and no. Okay, so now I will quickly manage the code. Okay, so now design is ready. So now let's write inside this delete item method. So first create a dialog builder is equal to new alert dialog is equal to new alert dialog dot builder and pass the context. And now with help of the inflector, layout inflector dot from context, inflector dot from context, and now view is equal to inflector dot inflect r dot layout dot confirmation dialog and null. And now let's declare the button no button is equal to view dot find view by id r dot id dot no button, and same for the yes button. Yes button. Okay, now dialog builder dot set view dialog is equal to dialog builder dot create and dialog dot show. Okay, now let's implement on click listener on yes and no button. No button dot set on click listener new view dot on click listener new view dot on click listener. Okay, and same for the yes button dot set on click listener new view dot on click listener. Okay, so now inside this no button we will dismiss the dialog, so dialog dot dismiss. And before writing inside this yes button, we will create one method inside this database enter class to delete the record, delete grocery. Okay, so public void delete grocery integer id. We will take the id of the record. SQLite database db is equal to this dot get a writable database, and now db dot delete constants dot table name constants dot key id plus key id is equal to question mark, at which key id we want to delete the record, and pass the new string array string dot value of id. Okay, and now db dot close. Okay, now insert this yes button database handler db is equal to new database handler and pass the context. Now db dot delete grocery and pass the id. Now grocery list dot remove at adapter position. It will remove the record at the particular location. And now notify item change at adapter position. And now dialog.dismiss. Okay, so we have implemented yes and no event for the delete button. So when we will click on this edit button, this edit dialog will pop up and we can update the record. And on the click of this delete button, this delete dialog will appear, and on the click of the yes, the record will be deleted, and on the click of the no, we will dismiss the dialog. Okay, so now let's write code inside this list activity to show the records. So now inside this list activity, let's declare recycler view and different variables. Private recycler view, private recycler view dot adapter, and it will be recycler view adapter private list of grocery list, and another private list of grocery list items. Now private database handler db, private alert dialog dot builder private alert dialog and private edit text grocery item, and another will be for quantity. And last, private button save button. Let's import this button. Okay, so now let's write code. We will first create one toolbar is equal to find view by id r dot id dot toolbar, and now set support action bar and pass the toolbar. Okay, and now set support action bar and pass the toolbar. Okay, now create a floating action button fab is equal to find view by id r dot id dot fab, and implement the on click listener on this floating action button equal to new view dot on click listener, and inside this on click we will create the method as we have created inside this main activity. So create pop-up dialog. Okay, create pop-up dialog, and I will copy paste the same code as we have used inside this main activity, so we don't have to write it for the another time. Okay, and replace this main activity with list activity, and okay, replace this dialog with alert dialog, and the same for your quantity, grocery quantity with quantity, dialog and make it here builder quantity and builder. Okay. So let's write inside this database handler class to get all grocery. Now let's create method public list of grocery and method name will be get all grocery. Okay, now inside this declare SQLite database db is equal to this dot get readable database. Now list of grocery list is equal to new array list. Okay, now call the cursor is equal to db dot query constants. Add the cursor is equal to db dot query constants dot table name comma new string array and insert that constants dot key id comma constants dot key grocery item comma constants dot key quantity constants dot key date. Okay, and now we have a table name, we have a column. The selection string will be null, selection argument will also be null, group by will be null, and order by will be also null, and we will add one more argument constant dot key date plus DESC descending order. Okay, so we will show the last record first. Okay, and okay, so now if cursor dot move to first, if there are some record inside the cursor, then we will let a do while method do and while, and inside while we will let cursor dot move to next, we will move to the next record, and inside the do we will call the grocery is equal to new grocery dot set id integer dot parse int cursor dot get string, and inside that cursor dot get column index, and column will be constants dot key id. Okay, now we will set name grocery dot set name cursor dot get string. Now cursor dot get column index, and inside that constants dot key grocery item. And now for the quantity, grocery dot set quantity, cursor dot get string, cursor dot get column index, and constants dot key quantity. Okay. So now for date, we will convert the date into the readable format. Okay. Java dot text dot date format is equal to java dot text dot date format dot get date instance. And now string format date is equal to date format dot format new date, cursor dot get long, and inside that cursor dot get column index, constants dot key date, and add semicolon. And now add to the grocery dot set date added, and it will be format date. Okay. And in the last, grocery list dot add grocery, and now we will return here the grocery list, return grocery list. Okay. So now let's go back to this list activity and write over here. And okay, so first db is equal to new database handler of this. Now recycler view is equal to find view by id r.id dot recycler view id, recycler view dot set as fixed size to true. It will be of the fixed size of as much as the screen. Recycler view dot set layout manager and it will be new linear layout manager, and inside this pass this. Okay, it means that the layout will be this list activity screen. And now grocery list is equal to new array list, and list items is equal to new array list. Now grocery list is equal to db.get all groceries. Now to get the groceries, for grocery g colon grocery list, and inside that grocery is equal to new grocery dot set name c dot get name, g dot get name. Now grocery dot set quantity g dot get quantity, and here we will add one text for quantity, so we can note that it is quantity. Okay, okay, now grocery dot set id, and id will be g dot get id, and last grocery dot get date added, and here we will added on plus g dot get date added. Okay, here it will be set date. Okay, so now add this grocery to list items dot add grocery, and now insert the recycler view adapter. Recycler view adapter is equal to new recycler view adapter, and insert this pass this and list of grocery, and it will be list items. Now recycler view dot set adapter, and pass this recycler view adapter, and now at recycler view adapter dot set notify data change, notify data set. Okay, so now let's run and check whether it is running properly or not. So let's add record. Name will be apple, quantity will be 12, save, and see the toast message added and record is added. Now click on edit button and edit quantity to 20. Record is added. Now let's add another apple, another record. Name will be test, quantity will be 5, save, record added. Now let's delete this record. So it worked properly. Okay, this detail activity to show that particular record on that item click. So inside this detail activity, I have taken the card view and inside that added one relative layout and 3 text view for name, quantity and date to show that a particular record. Okay, so now let's start. Okay, so before writing code inside this detail activity, we need to write inside this on-click listener to get the record. So first declare integer position is equal to get adapter position to fetch the particular position that on which record we have clicked. Now call the grocery new grocery and pass the context and the class in which we need to pass the data, and that will be detail activity dot class. Now with the help of intent we will pass that particular record. New intent, and here pass the it will be simple grocery, and inside this intent we will pass this context and class. Now intent dot put extra. This put extra method will fetch the data from the recycler view, and we will pass the data inside this detail activity with the help of a bundle to get that data. Now here we will pass the string id and value will be grocery dot get id. This name must be the same which we will pass inside this detail activity to fetch that record. Now we will do the same for name, quantity and the date. Name, quantity and date. Here grocery dot get name, get quantity and get date added. Okay, and now we will pass this intent to the context dot start activity intent. Okay, so now inside this detail activity, first declare text view and integer to get the data. Private text view will be item name, quantity, and date added, and private integer grocery ID. Okay, so now item name is equal to find view by id r.id dot item name. Item name detail. Now for quantity is equal to find view by id r.id dot item quantity detail. Date added is equal to find view by id r dot find view by id r dot id dot item date added detail. And now we will use bundle is equal to get intent dot get extras. So this get intent dot get extras will fetch that data from this recycler view and we will pass it to the detail activity. So now if bundle not equal to null, so if we got some record, then we will set that data inside this text. Item name dot set text bundle dot get string, and the string will be name, and we will do same for the quantity and date. And here now grocery id is equal to bundle dot get int, and it will be id. Okay, so now let's run and check whether it is running properly or not. Okay, so now let's add record. Name will be mango, quantity will be 40, save. Okay, so if I click on this apple, I got the record, name, quantity and date. And now if I click on mango, I got the date. And on the click of delete, yes, record is deleted. So it worked proper. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, share and don't forget to subscribe Clueless Tech.